Here's the latest bracketology in Division I women's basketball, which some of the conference tournaments have started this week, with the exception of the Big 12. Let's make that clear. They have not played the Big 12 tournament just yet. They play a week after, the following week, right before the NCAA tournament. I'm going to go through the 1 through 4 seeds, as well as the bubble teams and their quality games left, which includes conference tournaments. And this will be the only one this week because, let's face it, it's going to probably change most of the days coming up. And maybe depending on my schedule, I could do it next week. I'll see if I really need to, because, like I said, most of these teams will play their conference tournaments coming up. So the 1 seeds would be the following: South Carolina, obviously, Indiana, Stanford, Utah. Now, the 2 seeds would be LSU, Maryland, Virginia Tech, Iowa. The 3 seeds would be Notre Dame, UConn, Duke, and Ohio State. The 4 seeds would be North Carolina, Texas, Villanova, and Colorado. So the only team in the Big 12 that's going to host the first 2 rounds is Texas, and they lost last night. They could very well play themselves down out of that list of hosting, potentially, because UCLA is on the push, and it could very well move up to that spot, or even Oklahoma. It could be any of these 5 seeds, for crying out loud. Michigan could be that team. They could be. It could be Tennessee. So now the bubble teams are the following. The last 4 byes: Illinois, you have just the Big Ten tournament. Miami, Florida, ACC tournament. Iowa State, Kansas, you have Iowa State. Purdue, just Big Ten tournament. Marquette, Big East tournament. Now Marquette is on the last 4 in. Another couple of teams, other teams are in the first 4 in. Or some others are St. John's. They just had the Big East tournament. Princeton, none, just an Ivy League conference tournament. Well, I tell you what, they have to win that first game, in my opinion. And then I think no matter what happens, they'll be okay. Then Syracuse, nothing, just an ACC tournament. Now the first 4 out, Oregon, they just had the Pac-12 tournament. Obviously, if they get beat early, especially to a team that they shouldn't, they're out of the NCAA tournament. West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and at Baylor. And they beat Baylor, mind you. They did. Nebraska, Big Ten tournament. Arkansas, SEC tournament. Now, the next 4 out: Washington, Pac-12 tournament. Kansas State, at Oklahoma, and Texas. Rhode Island, just an A-10 tournament. Michigan State, Big Ten tournament. So a lot of these teams' fates in terms of the NCAA tournament, will they make it or not, are on the line, as you could tell, because it's just the Big 12 right now. And of course, if you really want to include Kansas and West Virginia on the remaining schedules, and same thing goes for Kansas State, Big 12 tournament, that's fine. You could. I tell you what, though, if West Virginia somehow goes 0-2, they're not going to get an NCAA tournament. I don't think, with the regular season, if they do go 0-2. I would think so, based on Syracuse is in a little better spot, and if Princeton does go to at least but here's the good news for West Virginia, though. The Big 12 tournament's later. You're gonna know what they have to do to just get in. Obviously, win your conference tournament, you're in. but more importantly, don't have bad losses or just get bounced, especially early in the first round, especially like Oregon, Nebraska, Arkansas, Washington, Rhode Island, Michigan State. I think Purdue's safe in all this. I think they're safe. Same thing goes for Miami, Florida. Same thing goes for Illinois. They're safe. I think Marquette, maybe, but Marquette's going to play St. John's, though. Believe it or not. So, somebody's going to lose there. Somebody. You can't have both teams win. That's not how it works. I mean, and that's the fortune. The good news is, I think whoever wins that game between those two ensures himself a guaranteed spot in the NCAA tournament. The loser, a little bit on a hair. I mean, and still be in the last 4 in list. But I would think both those teams beat UConn, though. So, I really do think they should be safe. It's Princeton they have to worry a little bit. Because they might just only get one bid out of the Ivy League. Because, let's face it, what if West Virginia gets it and wins the Big 12 tournament? Which I don't know if that's going to even happen. Or even Kansas State. I mean, you're toast. I mean, somebody's going to steal your spot. You just cannot have bid stealers for like the Big 12 tournament for those other teams or any other conferences that are not projected to be. But the thing, if it's one big league, one bid for those teams, and the other conferences compared to others, you're fine. It's the other conferences like the Big East, the ACC, in the Pac-12, in the Big 12, you can't have bid stealers if you're on the last 4 in list or in the first 4 out list right now. You just can't. Of course, if West Virginia and Kansas State would win their conference tournament, they're in. They would be. But that's just hypothetical right there. Anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe. And see you guys later. It's 5 subscribers. We're on the road to it. Let's go. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the majority of these conference tournaments. Because they're playing. Most of them are playing this week. Or it's going to happen on Saturday and then continue on. So we have to wait and see.